Hey everybody, I decided to do a short Facebook Live today on an intuitive insight that came to me strongly today. I love these. So usually when I'm giving something intuitively from my life, it generally flows into my physicality, which means that if I'm in a location, I can generally observe nature, listen to what's happening, and intuitively know something. So today, I distinctly heard in my spirit, in the essence of my being, internal earthquakes. Can you feel it, Deborah? Well, immediately I started writing in my journal, and I'm going to read to you what I wrote in my journal because I think it will encourage you. Internal earthquakes, can you feel them? Well, I live in California. I've been here since 1980, aside from living overseas 8 to 10 years. And when you live here, you become aware that earthquakes are just always around. You begin to notice them at various levels. Do you know that in California, these past 24 hours, there's been 21 earthquakes? And in the past 7 days, there's been over 240 earthquakes. So you live with the ability to feel an earthquake as it hits at various levels. So here's what I wrote in my journal. I'm going to give you an allegory of an internal earthquake, but also what you experience in the natural realm. When you live here, and there's generally a 2.5 or a 3 point something earthquake, you begin to feel and you begin to know that there's a subtle nuance in the shaking. You could be sitting on your couch and suddenly you'll feel something shift. You may not notice it. You may not see the windows shake or pictures shake, but you'll notice that there's a shaking on the level of 3.0 or 2 point something, and it'll show you. Whereas on the other end of the spectrum, if there's a 7.0 earthquake, like what was recently in Ferndale, you feel it. The Loma Prieta earthquake years ago, you felt it. The destruction from those earthquakes were fires in the Oakland Hills, smashed freeways. So every earthquake has a subtle reality in life that presents a challenge. Well, so do internal earthquakes present a challenge. And when I look at my life over the past 5 years, it seemed like everything in the groundedness of my being was shifting, and to varying degrees. There were small earthquakes that were just nuanced that I had to respond to in an awareness, and then there were major earthquakes that forced me into a life change. Those are internal earthquakes of various degrees that manifest in the physical realm as well in the spiritual realm. So when you feel an earthquake here in California, depending upon how strong it is, it shifts you into a greater awareness. When you're sitting on the couch, and I have experienced this more times than I can tell you, you feel the earth shift, and it brings you into a greater awareness that there's something going on underground that may not be manifested yet in the physical realm, but it's still prevalent. Or when you feel a stronger earthquake, you literally, one time I was sitting in the living room and the whole apartment shifted. One time a picture fell off the wall. So those are physical manifestations that relate to me, an allegorical manifestation in my life due to shifts in my life that come at various degrees, in various ways, and in various degrees of power. Well, when you feel a small earthquake, it shifts you into greater awareness. But when you feel a large earthquake, like they just had in Ferndale, it shifts you into a life change. When they went back to their homes, if their homes were knocked off the foundation, they either had to make a decision to move, or they had to make a decision to repair their home. And in many times when you experience a very strong earthquake, it gives you a fear of the unknown. Those are the practical applications. Not every shift is the same in the earthquakes that occur in California. And not every shift is the same in the internal earthquakes that you feel within your life that sometimes are very strong and cause you to have to flow in a life change that maybe you're not used to, or they can be very subtle, bringing you an awareness that change is always constant. So here's the deal. In any case, a shift brings you into an internal awareness. Just like the 3-point something earthquake that you could feel, it makes me aware that, whoa, I forget, California is on major fault lines, an earthquake can happen. So when those things start happening internally to you, they're very subtle. You may be triggered by something. They bring you into an awareness of a place in your life you need healing. See how you can allegorically, intuitively, I see in the natural what's happening in my physicality, in the essence of my being. So when I'm aware of certain things that have shifted in my life, I always ask what caused the shift. It brings me an internal earthquake that is subtle, but true nonetheless, brings me into an awareness that healing is needed. Where? How? Why? So I have to be aware of it and be walking into the change that brings me into a wholeness in my life. But when there's a major shift, just like a major earthquake in California, which happened in my life 5 years ago when my whole world changed, because my husband passed away, that major shift, just like those people in Ferndale that came home and there may have been a destructive house, or a shift in the climate, a shift in the environmental, like whole hillsides come crashing down. You have to deal with that. You can't avoid major internal earthquakes that occur in your life. They're going to produce a life shift, and it's how you look at it. It's how you approach it. Like some people may move from Ferndale, and some people may say, let's hunker down and rebuild. It's all in how you observe. When that major internal earthquake happened, I couldn't avoid it. I had to realize that fear came in my life. My life was changed, and I had to make a decision to move forth in the new path that the internal earthquake produced in my life. So the ground is unsettled in California. It's totally, like I said, 21 earthquakes in the past. How many did I say? Hold on, let me check. 21 earthquakes in the past 24 hours in California, 244 in the past 7 days. So the ground is always shifting here. And the ground is always shifting in our lives. Because in this place and time on the planet right now, in this shift we're in, we have to be very aware that the only thing constant is change. If you're going to hunker down in a belief system, or you're going to believe a savior is coming, it might present you a false facade of internal safety, but it isn't reality. So everything vibrates and everything is always shifting, and change is constant. The only thing constant in the universe is change. So what do? We settle into the change. How do we settle into it? Well, if you settle into change, like those people in Ferndale that had that earthquake hit, if they feared earthquakes, they might seriously consider moving from California, because the ground is always shifting here, and it could become a deep fear within them. But so can an internal earthquake. It could produce such a fear in you that it locks you out of the present moment in time and has you focus on your past or your future, and you disregard the present moment where change is always prevalent. There's always a shaking. Evolution in my life, in your life, ascension into greater degrees of light is always going to shake our lives. It's never going to ground us in any measure of stability, because the only stability is the I am essence within. And that in and of itself will have you conquer and triumph in life in your authenticity. So fear can lock you into the past or the future, but how do you settle into the now? Because you see, you have to settle in the now. If the earth is always shaking and you look into the past at the earthquakes that has happened, and you're looking to the future of the earthquakes that can still come, you never settle into the present moment, and that's when people may move. But I choose not to move. And so here's the deal. If I settle into the present moment, I look at the past as a means of healing, and I look into the future not dictating a way based upon my ego, based upon anxiety, or based upon fear. I settle into the present moment. How do I do that? Well, it's very clear to me. I increase my skills of observation, perception, and hearing. When you settle into the present moment, you increase your skills of observation and perception. And on the planet today, whether you're seeing it or not, there are lies upon lies upon lies and illusions trying to shift our reality into fear, trying to shift our reality into anxiety. So what you see is not what you get. You have to observe past what you're seeing and look into your intuition, into your heart-brain coherence to see what's really going on. And there is no escaping what's coming. There is no savior coming. I keep saying that all the time, whether it's in the realm of technology, whether it's in the realm of religion, and whether it's in the realm of government. You are the change. You are the essence of change on this planet right now. So when you shift your observational and perception skills, you have to be open to seeing that way which may astound you, that which you may have bought into for so many years of your life, and you have to shift into a new perception. What is that new perception? That you are the brilliance, you are the change, you are called to move in your I am essence. It doesn't mean that you don't feel the ramifications. Just if you're in an earthquake, which I've been in, I still feel the shaking, but I hunkered down and ground myself into the now. And you may have to prepare food for yourself, because if the Loma Prieta earthquake hit, it knocked out everything for a week. You may have to duck under a table. Kids in California, as far as I know, they learn that when an earthquake hits, you got to quickly get under things, or you got to get in the door jams of the apartment or the home in which you live. You live with that reality. So your perception is based upon reality, not hearsay, not the lies they're trying to tell you. You have to see through it. We are surrounded now by lies. Government, media, everything. Can you see through this in order to perceive past the internal shakings that are trying to drive fear in your life, trying to drive anxiety, and can you ground into the present moment by your observational skills? Some of it's just common sense. What's another thing that keeps you grounded in the present moment? It's your hearing. You trust your heart. Do you listen to what people are saying? Do you really listen? Do you accept everything? Or do you, the shaking that's occurring, being grounded in the present moment, no matter what shaking is going on constantly around you, which again, I want to reiterate, is constantly happening in California. I want to reiterate again, 21 earthquakes in the past 24 hours, 240 earthquakes in the past 7 days. The ground is always shaking in California, and nature pretty much shows everything that's going on here. So when you hear something amidst the shaking, amidst the lies, amidst the illusion, amidst the control, and I'm not going to go into specifics because you are what you believe. And it doesn't matter what I believe. What do you believe? But are you hearing past the lies? Do you feel something in your heart that you know that it's not quite right what they're saying. What's your response to that? You seek truth. You stay away from the lies and you seek the truth tellers. You seek the people out there that are speaking truth, because there are many people speaking truth. So why did I speak this today? Well, sometimes I just like to do these based upon intuitive insights because they've encouraged me. I journal, I write, because as I write, I ground more into my writing, and it touches my heart more deeply. So I don't put everything on a computer. I put a lot in my journal. And I distinctly heard, Deborah, feel this internal earthquake. Can you feel it? And I realized in my own personal life, from 5 years ago, the shaking was so dramatic, it produced such a shift in my life that I lost people, I lost passion, I lost purpose, I moved, I changed everything to the point where when I got to the central coast of California, I didn't even know who I was anymore. The major shaking produced such a shift in me, not only internally, but outwardly. So where are you with the internal shakings in your life? What's shaking in your life that's trying to provide you a means of movement? It could be like the subtle earthquakes we feel in California, where they don't require a change, okay? The subtle earthquakes, are always happening here. So they don't require a change. You still drive, you still go places, but you know that the ground is always shifting under the major fault lines. And you are aware, like I said, we have food stocked away. We have water. We're prepared for a major earthquake. Why? Am I a prepper? No, I'm just wise because I've experienced them before. But minor shakings do not produce outward movement. They produce inward movement. All the minor earthquakes in your life, however you're shifting, are going to display themselves in the quality of your life. You're going to detach from certain things. You're going to add certain things, but they may not produce external movement. You may have and I for those joining, I would suggest you go back to the beginning. I'm almost through. So the internal movements that people may not even see. There may be internal shifts in your life that nobody's even aware of. You may have to make decisions in your life that people don't understand. They feel you're writing them off. They feel that, but the internal shifts, the internal earthquakes that are happening always are present because change is constant. But also be aware that there are major shifts on the planet right now that may shift you to movement into a different location. It may shift you into a different career. It may shift you into an ascension of knowing that no matter what happens, I am that I am. These major shifts are supposed to hasten the planet into a new humanity. That sounds cliche, but it's not. If you listen to futurists talk, if you listen to people that are truly speaking truth without the need to influence, without the need of any ego, that are simply change, we are in a major shift in this planet. Are you ready? Do you fear it based upon the unknown of the future? Do you have anxiety based upon the unknown of everything you've walked into the past? So I'll end with this. Ground in the present moment. Ground in your observational skills to have your intuition and your heart show you what you're really seeing past what the projection is of what's going on. Listen carefully to what you're hearing and hear through the lies and the illusion that's being presented to what's really going on. Again, I want to say this. This shift in my life is major. And so how has it manifested? And I'll leave you with this. Do you realize that for the past month, I've had no desire to do anything? Nothing. I haven't really wanted to do Facebook Lives. I've done them because I knew that I had something to say and it's my purpose. I'm a communicator. I got bored with TV, bored with Netflix. I didn't want to read, even though I've got a stack of books. I would sit in the apartment and go, I don't want to sit by the ocean anymore. And I was brought into this place of nothingness, but I didn't get angry. I didn't get angry at all. I realized that being brought down to that place of nothingness where I would just sit in silence. I didn't even meditate. I didn't use breath work. I just sat with my journal and was open to the universe speaking to me. And I disentangled myself from all need to impress. I disentangled myself from people and from places and from situations to the point where I was not in fear. It was like, where am I today? Well, I can't tell you, but I sense incredible change is coming. What does that mean? I don't know. Where's that going to take me? I don't know. But I'm okay with that, because when you're in that place, there's such a peace and a joy. It just throws out the fear. It throws out the anxiety. Are you afraid of being alone with yourself? Are you afraid of listening to yourself, thinking it's woo-woo or this can't be true? Are you afraid of believing in yourself? Because that internal earthquake is going to get stronger and stronger, because it's going to shift you into a place of incredible awe and wonder and brilliance. And then you're going to look back at everything you detached from, and you're going to live in the present moment. So again, I want to say this. As a travel scribe, I'm realizing that I ground myself in locations that teach me something. Where I am grounded in right now, high quality solitude. See, that's really good. High quality solitude. So where I'm grounded at right now, I'm realizing I'm here in this location because this location is going to teach me something. Let me tell you what's going on today. The king tides are off the coast. Huge waves. It's like the ocean is so fed up with humanity that the waves are not only, they're strong, and there's 50-mile-an-hour winds. And an atmospheric river came down this morning. The winds were so strong, a tree almost missed my car. And so it's like the wind is shaking. All of nature is constantly on the move. So as nature is speaking that to us, it's speaking that to you. Change is constant. Evolution is brilliance. Ascension is light. Ask yourself, I am that I am. What does that mean in your internal essence? So I hope this encouraged you. It encouraged me. I just feel good. And so I'm going to let you go. Watch this from the beginning. It's not that long. And you're going to see how allegorically the external physical earthquakes in California teach me something in my spiritual being. Love you all. Have a good day.